Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you, Ruben. Good to see you,
Hello.
Gabriel.
Good to see you
Hello.
too, Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little connection issue trying to get started there.
Looks like we are at the end of our Truths of Terasem cycle this month.
Yes, one more month done, and coming to the end of our 2025 year change, and uh, excited for another go round at it. You know,
Me too.
once wiser for it.
Absolutely. Terasem consciousness seems to be growing and growing.
It is, and ever more needed.
Totally.
Excellent. Oh, right. I'm still monitoring our lobby. Don't want to
Of
leave anyone
course.
out there. Yeah. So yeah, once again, we are back together. It for some reason it feels like it's been a year. It feels so long since our last gathering. And thanks for everybody for taking some time on your morning, afternoon, Wednesday, um, for our Terasem Satsanga. And just happy to see your faces, hear your updates, and um, let's let's begin. So I'm gonna start and welcome Angela into the room, and feel free to give us an update or share something you got going.
Hey everybody. I'm just chugging along. The world is kind of strange right now. It feels like such an interesting time to be alive. Like on one hand, I'm like, wow, we could create abundance and explore the cosmos and live indefinitely. And like, wow, it seems like we could really make a heaven on earth if we do this right. Like the power of intelligence can really do great things. And AI just superpowers our intelligence. And on the other hand, there's like, or I don't know, we might extinct ourselves. So I don't think that's going to happen, right? But like even Elon Musk and some of the leading futurist minds like recognize that there is some risk of catastrophe. So it's just wow, the difference between how the world may go as we move forward is just so bizarre. Um, Anyway, yeah, I think about that sort of stuff. Where are we headed? What's going on? How do I make sense of all of this? And yeah, it's just really interesting times. And Terasem was like so far ahead of the curve, of course. So anyway,
Absolutely.
glad to be here. Good to see you guys.
Thank you, Angela. Yeah, it's great to have you here. And I there's a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. And so being confronted, with these types of existential threats, also is what creates the awareness and the motivation to provide solutions for them.
Mhm.
And I often, use that to illustrate how the choice moving into extreme and new environments forces us to create new tools, and particularly something as resource scarce as open space, is the only thing that will motivate us to create the types of efficiencies necessary to keep more people alive and well fed and happy. And so before we get confronted with, that asteroid, that famine reality, by choosing to go to space, by choosing to go into virtual space, provides us with solutions that we might not have been able to find in time if confronted with the true existential threat. So thank you for joining us. Julio, welcome. Very excited about next week's upcoming colloquium.
Thank you, Gabriel. Yes, we're having the Terasem colloquium on Sunday at the usual time of, at exactly this time. And everyone is welcome, and I look forward to seeing you all. A lot of interesting speakers, including Natasha Vitamor, David Pearce, David Orban, David Brin, whom you know as a great science fiction writer and who gave a talk at one of the last Terasem colloquia, and the keynote speaker, who is Greg Stock, who will publish his very, very good new book titled Generation AI on 15, the day after the colloquium, and will tell us what the book is about on Sunday. So I do look forward to seeing you all. In parallel, we are preparing the next issue of the Terasem Journal of Personal Cyber Consciousness with many good articles. I wish to thank Ruben for sending one. It will be published on Saturday or Sunday and will include my review of Greg Stock's book. What else did I want to say? Yes, I had invited a guest to today's gathering. He's an anthropologist who is studying for his PhD with Beth Singler, who gave a talk at Terasem Colloquium last December and wrote this very good book about the intersections of artificial intelligence technology and religion and spirituality. He will not be able to make it today, but I hope you don't mind me inviting him, and he may show up at the next gathering with some questions for you all. I believe he wants to write something about Terasem. What else did I want to say? Yes, back to the colloquium on Sunday. Gabriel, I would like to ask you, as usual, to come like 20 or 15 minutes before the start, because I'll have to make you co-host of the meeting, just in case something bad happens with my internet connection, which almost never happens, but in principle can happen. So if you can show up earlier, and for backup and redundancy, I will also tell that to Derek, who is not here today, I believe. No, he's not here. Huh?
Excellent. Yeah, and I will be available.
Thank you. And okay, nothing else to say. I'm going to listen to you guys.
Thank you, Julio. Yeah, it's very exciting with the all the work with the colloquiums and the journals. Such great content for Terasem. So let's go to Ivan.
Hello, everyone. Great to be here to see you all. Yeah, actually, not too much happened here, I would say, since as usual, winter here in Berlin and in Germany, gray sky. But the sun is behind the clouds in any case, so yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us and using the Terasem flag background screen.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move over and welcome Javen.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Oh, I actually have my my little Terasem logo from
nice.
that I made from the vines off the property that you helped me broker in
Melbourne here.
Yeah, up in Melbourne. Yeah. So anyway, I've got a crazy head cold that's been going on for a week, so I feel like I've got rocks in my head, but all is good here back in Florida. I still have like green light on possibly taking that church, the Wastefield Community Church, So, and did Jody show up today? I don't know.
Yep, Jody's here too.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So we should later on, we should put our heads together on that because I think that would be, good action, something we could really pull off this summer. And I like the concept of having some more, face-to-face gatherings for us. And and since I read from the Truths of Terasem last time was all about the places and all that, it was kind of odd. So that was serendipity there.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to be giving a talk at Church of Perpetual Life on the 18th. And it's going to get podcasted, I guess. So they'll put it out. But also, if anyone's in town, they want to come by. So I'm talking about life extension, salamander type regeneration, and what we're doing with rejuvenating the vascular system as a way to promote longevity, and it seems to be working. So it begs a lot of you know good discussions about longevity in general. And then the other thing that I got into, I'm involved with a company called Allosteric that's works on tryptophan metabolism, and it turns out that as a root of as an anti-aging approach. But tryptophan, and I just learned all this like a month or so ago, and it's blowing my mind. But tryptophan is involved in the quantum states in the brain, and all the microtubules that make up like massive amounts of all of our cells are all connected with these crystalline microtubule structures that we now science is coming to more agreement that they work in a quantum state. So this really, you can extrapolate on this, and it brings in the idea that like, wow, this could explain all kinds of feelings of serendipity, spirituality, telecommunications, psychic phenomenon, and all the really like the basis of religion, and the feelings of psychedelics and all that kind of stuff. So it's fun to see like actual scientific chemical reactions with tryptophan, which you get lots of when you eat turkey. But it's vibrating in the quantum field. So anyway, if anyone wants to chat about that on another channel, another time, I'm happy to dig in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks. Please, share, everybody, please, remember to share links in the chat. That also gets, preserved for posterity and, allows me to, potentially like, link a little pop-up to what you're talking about back in the video. And I feel like a couple of weeks ago, there was something about them finding tryptophan on an asteroid that was also named for a bird, Bennu. So
Wow.
that's interesting that there's some of it known to be floating around in the universe, and maybe that has some tie-in to you know a larger consciousness, so that's
Yeah,
fascinating. Yeah, yeah, very interesting. So thanks for sharing, and make sure drop things in the chat for everybody there. Awesome.
sure.
Well, let's welcome Jody. How is it going?
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all. And I love this conversation about tryptophan. I mean, everything has a consciousness, right? I was reading an article about plant medicines, and even different plant medicines have different consciousness. Like ayahuasca, the grandmother. A friend of mine, mushrooms has a different kind of consciousness when you experience it, and it's trying to perpetuate itself through a living organism, right? So when we put these things in our body, we're feeling that, and it's trying to come alive within us, right? Or the vehicle. So, well, first of all, I just want to say I'm so grateful to be here because I love having these conversations, and it has been bringing me on the wildest ride ever. I'm in a process of listening to my heart and figuring out what inspires me most so I can dedicate the rest of my life to it and just really dive in. And one of the things that's come true for me living in Lincoln, and being, oh, hey, amazing. Is that Lincoln?
Burlington.
Looks like it. Yeah. Oh, one of the things that's really bringing me through is I am kind of in this process of developing. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and a transpersonal hypnotherapist, and that's what I've been studying lately, and it has to do with consciousness. And in my journey in Lincoln, I was renovating a house there with a partner that's a 140-year-old house right in the center of town. It's a very special one. It's been there many years. And through that process of renovating it, from restructuring the floors, the foundation, leveling things, putting in new windows, I was going through an internal renovation process. And this internal renovation process that I've been going through has been an exploration of my own consciousness, who I am, what's my identity. I've been developing like different meters of metrics to kind of look at this and explain it through the concept of what is our inner architecture, and making it digestible for people who want to explore this and look at themselves. So, for example, some of the metrics, your nervous system. How well are you able to regulate yourself in a state of dysregulation? And can you sit in discomfort? And that's representative of, for example, maybe our temperature regulation in the house, our system for cooling ourselves down, or even if we're not inspired, amplifying ourselves and saying, hey, I need to heat myself up a little bit. So just having like something to push up against and different metaphors that I've created for this internal architecture, from even the cracks in our foundation. The foundation is our belief system, mainly our self-concept. What do we believe about ourselves and the world around us, right? So if we have cracks in a foundation or a house that's settling and throwing everything off, we can look at what that means to kind of go inward and maybe reposition ourselves. So I was in this living metaphor of this renovation, and I'm bringing it through in a course that I'm teaching to my own clients, and it's been a lot of fun. So I'm making videos now. I have 12 different sessions that kind of prime this for people, and yeah, it's something that I'm exploring. So I just love this conversation. I love to be part of this, and kind of thinking about mind files and how this all ties into how can people look at their consciousness? How can how can we educate people or have a vehicle for communicating what they are bringing into the world, to look at themselves and also grow through it? That's a big interest of mine, to put consciousness out. If AI is going to have a life of its own, what kind of things do we want to put out there? Like, do we want to put the best parts of ourselves? Of course, the shadow aspect of ourselves gives us the soil, like the compost of decay and dying things, but that's of what we grow from, right? We plant new seeds in that dying aspect of ourself that is the shadow, and we can grow from there. So this is the conversation that I'm involved in my life right now. I recently had a producer, and if this is sparking interest with anyone, I just would love to go a little deeper and maybe know where else I could link in or just join forces. A producer that I know reached out to me, interested in consciousness and psychic abilities, and we're having a meeting after this, but they wanted me to host a TV show, a docuseries about this kind of thing. And if you don't know this, I've
Wow.
been a TV host and brand representative and actress since 2001. The very first show that I was hosting was a holistic health TV show for the Discovery Health Network. We made a pilot about meditation, acupuncture, tantra, all these things, like how the Miami Heat basketball team uses acupuncture. And we presented it, and they said it's way too far ahead of its time. Look at us now. So I think it would be great to just maybe, work together, harness some of your ideas. We have an opportunity with a production company that wants to put something out there. So I'm really interested in how that might be of value to the group, what we could come up with, and what messages we could put out in the world.
Wow, that's so cool. And also don't forget, quantum computing is helping us learn about like quantum, brain activity and biology as well too. So there's another convergence there that is like, gives you like 3 or 4 more episodes of a series. There's a lot of content here. That's fantastic, Jody.
Yeah, if anyone wants to put together some ideas of things that they would be interested in seeing programming about, we're making a list of information. So why don't you all send me, I'll put my email here into the chat. I mean, give me ideas. And let's see what we could put together, and we'll present it to Gaia. We'll present it to, Netflix, and see what we can do. Because this, we have, I know several producers and things like that as well. But my goal is, I want to be able to string the story together and maybe be the human that's exploring it and taking you all on a journey to these different stops where we can just maybe share something in a really creative, fun way.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited about that. I love what your you know example of the house being a representative of that. I've worked a lot with different type of real estates and studied kind of architecture from a sociological perspective. And I've spoken about how buildings are exoskeletons for macroorganism, and there's also a sense where these virtual environments are meta buildings, right? It's that like that they are built on the archetype of us needing shelter, and it is a new like form of shelter. But there's really something also really to be said about um, how buildings control to a degree your expression, and how we are actually quite limited in our individual and macro organic expression because of the built environment. Yes, and I see Keith mentioning something in the chat there. So that'd be us. And Jody, I want to encourage you to perhaps share or synthesize some of this. I think there is definitely content for the Terasem journals that around what we're talking about here. So that would be great. And perhaps even in a future colloquium, we may come to a theme around that as well. So fascinating, and thank you for walking this journey and sharing with us. And so very excited to step into this this whole next year. Because we've gotten to know you just in the last end of this past year, but 2026, we're looking forward to adding your perspective to this collective consciousness, and what are the links and meanings that we'll find coming into 2026. So very, very optimistic for the new year. Excellent. Yeah. Well, Keith, since you have to run soon, you're welcome to hop on and say hello before you go.
Hi, I've been working on a project to turn trash and a lot of extra solar energy into fuel. So there's a very, very rough write-up on it in the chat. So anybody gets interested in it is there.
Yeah, thank you for showing Trash to Fuel, I believe is the link there. And that's becoming a reality. I have a good friend here on the Space Coast, Via Space, and their company is converting plastic waste into rocket fuel. And in 2027, they will hopefully launch their first orbital rocket using recycled 3D printed recycled plastic. So it is very real. It's very possible to do. And they're sadly mostly in military applications currently. but they're using that to scale, into the near Earth economy, Earth Moon economy, as some might say. And I also had the pleasure recently speaking with Spargo Space and Dr. Richard Niederlander, who was a Rothblatt Space Settlement Business Plan winner. And I'm actually going to be connecting the two of them because his idea is for in orbit, refueling stations, so autonomous refueling stations, and they're really, their goal is to be really fuel agnostic. So they want to be able to power whatever vessel needs whatever. You can't be everything to everybody, but to what degree that they can be a multi-fuel depot, they're interested in doing that. Sorry, little tangent there. But thanks, Keith, for being here, for sharing with us. And for those of you who haven't met or don't know Keith, he is a founder of the L5 Society, which recently this year celebrated its 50th anniversary. So we thought we were ahead of our time. Keith is still ahead of our time. Yeah, and we're honored to share our consciousness with you, Keith. So thanks for being here. And so let's hop back to Ruben and welcome from Argentina.
Hello, good morning. Well, here is very warm, near 40 Celsius, guys, very warm. So drinking the local drink mate that I think you probably had seen Lionel Messi drinking this mate. Is very popular in Argentina, in Uruguay, and with small differences in Paraguay also. So also excited about the colloquium. It's great that it is on Sunday, so we have time to stay all the colloquium and enjoy it. And well, about the consciousness and storage of it in digital media, I think we are quite advanced in two tools that are the storage of memories and personality with LiveNote platform. That's something about what I write in the next journal, as Julio has told. But now I am beginning to explore the most difficult step, that is the third item, plus memories and personality, that is qualia. Qualia refers to the feelings associated with experiences, and we have a long trip to ahead for achieving, catching that qualia, that feeling associated with memories and personality, to have the whole cognitive architecture storage. And well, I am beginning with that. I refer to feelings and associated with the experiences, and of course the ultimate goal to catch is love as the greatest feeling. And well, a lot of work ahead. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here. Yeah, we when we were in Ecuador, made some new friends, including one gentleman also from Argentina, who is very fond of this mata, and had it, at the table, and we got them a little, a strainer thing for making it, because he was making it at all the meals we went to.
Okay, I will take some mate for you next time I go to the Sunday.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so next up, let's head over to Steve in New York.
Hey everyone, really great conversation today. Really love the sharing and all the wonderful things everyone is working on. I've had a very interesting couple of 2 weeks. I was in DC um, for a number of meetings and workshops. The George W. University had a workshop on space governance, which was really interesting conversation. The Meridian House International did a workshop on norms in space and looking ahead some 50 years, and it's just it was enlightening in that it was wonderful to see so many people's serious policy and governance and legal experts sort of try to wrap their head around what it's going to be like in space, 20 and 50 years from now, and how do we grapple with that. Um, one of the things I came away with is that it's so much like trying to look into a crystal ball and making predictions and how things are going to be. And how we want things to be. So I think it was a little challenging in that way. But I think the main thing is that that folks are engaging in that to work towards a framework that can work for us in the coming decades, and try to look beyond the missions of record that that is that is dominating NASA's attention right now, including going back to the moon, which is very exciting, and perhaps going to Mars sometime soon as well. Um, and they even went to Jared Isaacsman's hearing on Capitol Hill, which was interesting as well. So it's a redo of that. But I ended the week um, going with a friend of mine to a 1 day meditation retreat hosted by the Insight Meditation uh, Foundation with Tara Brock. Anyone who might, I see a couple of heads nodding. She's someone who's been in my ear for 20 years with her podcasts, and I've seen her a couple of times, and it just was wonderful. The focus of this was, love in a time of uncertainty, right? So we talk a lot about what's going on in the world, and it really was wonderful because like a lot of people, I do spend too much time doom scrolling about the news and all this, and it was just a wonderful to take a step back and just recognize, um, everyone is worth loving in the world, regardless of who they are and what they're doing. We may not like what other people are doing, and we may try to work in opposition, but each individual is worth loving. So that was pretty profound for me, sort of ending a week where there's so much talk about, never mind what's going on in this country, but there's so much othering with regards to China, especially in the space domain, because we're so worried that they're going to get to the moon and they're going to beat us in the new space race and all this. And so it was important for me to see that. So it was, yeah, that's kind of It's kind of what I've been up to. And hey, listen, I'm going to be in Florida again at SpaceCom. You know, Gabriel, if you're going to be there, by all means, I'd love to chat with you again. So anyway, thanks.
Absolutely, yeah. I will definitely be at SpaceCom. In fact, the American Space Museum will be boothing there, and just did a MOU with Spacecom around our mutual participation. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Yeah, and we are also looking forward to coming up in February for the Beyond Earth symposium then as well. So looking forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, how could
Um,
I not make a plug for the Beyond Earth Symposium? Thank you. And of course, I think I mentioned last time, Martine is going to be on the agenda. We're super pumped about that. And of course, that's dominating a lot of my attention right now. Just putting all the we have such a great lineup of speakers and the program is great. Everything's really come together. So it's going to be phenomenal. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that.
No problem. No problem, of course. All right. So we got, I think, a couple more people we haven't welcomed in yet, including Martine, who did share the very neat photo of the H66. So, Martine, if you are available, you're welcome to chime in here. You may be muted or have something going on in the background. And in the meantime, then let's say hi to Mike Perry, who I can see does have a muted icon. And well, in the meantime, if either of you two would like to unmute and say anything, I'll come back with a couple items to share. Mike, I see your
Hello,
icon.
everybody.
Hey, yep,
I'm at Alcor in Scottsdale, Arizona, as usual, and it's busy times, and it might get busier, and I might have to take off again.
I just have to grab a few things from my van. Is it okay if I go out the front?
Yeah, go ahead. Wonderful talk I've heard so far. I agree with a lot of things. I sure wish more of the world had the Terasem point of view on things, and anyway, I don't want to keep everybody too long, but I'm glad to be here, and I'll be here as long as I can, but I might have to take off at any point. Okay?
excellent. Yes, well, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's that's an interesting, I think, feeling to. I mean, it's exciting that Alcor is busy, but the other side of that is that means people are expiring, right? But we
All
are
right.
changing the definition of what expiration, kind of means in that sense. Um, yeah,
I wish I had time to talk about some interesting work that I'm looking into right now at Alcor, but maybe another time soon.
absolutely, absolutely. Yep. We do this every month, and
Yeah.
so looking forward to hearing more of the
And
updates of
by
what
the
is going on.
by the way,
Uh,
I'm sorry I missed last month's meeting. I tried to get in and I got hung up. I couldn't get in, I don't know what was going on there, but I got in to this time, so it wasn't a
Excellent.
permanent glitch anyway.
All right. Well, yeah, no, we're happy to have you and interested to hear and the developments with going on with Alcor. And I know there's been a bunch. Unfortunately, I missed the board meeting recently, and but the structural changes, the team, and the new CEO, as well as increasing competition in the field, other groups coming in, which just actually demonstrates the viability, the interest, the market behind the cryogenization process. And so, um, first they, ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they, copy you. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, very, very exciting. And thanks for joining us and, keeping us close with all of our, friends and family, and follow Terasemians there in cryostasis. And so let's see. So we just saw Kevin join. So Kevin, we're still running around, giving our sharing our updates. So you're welcome to chime in there.
Great. Well, thank you for. I was just lucky to find the link. The other one that I was just trying wasn't working. So, updates. I've just not been well. That's about my health care issues with the passing of David and then a tooth extraction. But otherwise, space stuff and transhumanist stuff, I haven't kept my reading up, so I apologize for that. So I look forward to hearing more about how the community is moving forward and the user interface and what have you. I haven't dove into the latest operational aspects of the Mind Files stuff in a while, but I'm always interested.
Excellent. Yeah, well, we recently had a Terasem Movement Foundation board meeting that was very productive. We're going to see, some new developments and growth with Life Knot happening. And with Bina 48 now being here in Florida, that's going to become one of my projects in terms of creating an exhibit gallery around Bina 48 here. But that will also free the foundation up to really get back to the original charter of Life Knot development. And we are at a time where people are more with LLMs have really brought in this to the forefront, and so many more people are interested in data and their data and what that means than ever. So it's a good time for them to be revisiting and retooling based on the off the shelf capabilities, which is something that Terasem had always intended for. As a small nonprofit, Terasem was never structured or designed to go out and develop these tools. The idea was to inspire and encourage those people to the community to go out and build those tools. And through the colloquiums and the journals and these conversations, we really have opened so many people's eyes to what's capable. And now, yeah, it's over the counter. I mean, AI is over the counter at this point. So that is exciting and diversifying for us. So Kevin, I highly recommend. We had some really great kind of conversations. So happy that you're here, but I think you'll really enjoy some of the earlier content that we had in the meeting today. And so Martine, you're welcome to.
Gabe.
Yeah,
Gabe,
Jamin.
excuse me. Just on Bina 48, something I realized was that remember the Sophia robot, which is the famous younger sister of Bina 48, is to date, I did a search, is still the only humanoid robot or AGI entity to hold a passport. And then also, she's got her passport came from Crown Prince bin Salman himself of Saudi Arabia. And when I was working with Hansen, I was like, oh, David, let's go to Saudi. We got to make a lot of use of this. And he's like, oh, I'm so busy. Do you want to do it? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then the Khashoggi murder thing happened, and I was like, none of us wanted to really be talking about this great partnership with Saudi, but now things have kind of calmed down. But I looked in retrospect just the other day, and still Sophia is the only one with a passport. So I think we could get into some interesting stuff. And Jody, this could be a good topic that we could riff with on, being a 48, where did she come from? And then Hanson, and then the idea of the passport and the citizenship, and then the mind files, mind clones, all that comes together because Martine really was a pioneer of what we now call AGI. She was one of the very first to identify the components of mind files, mindware, and mind clones as, now we kind of wrap it all together as AGI as sort of a mushy term, but getting back into the Virtually Human book, it's like Martine really had it laid out in, like, 2007 or whatever it was.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's been I am uniquely blessed to have been kind of raised in with this perspective, and talking about the people on the colloquium today. Everybody but Greg Stock, I feel like I've known most of my life. um and and which is interesting, is that these people and these ideas, therefore are not abstractions. And I think for great many people, even with curiosities, the ideas and the people remain somewhat abstractions, because they aren't present forces in their life, in the same way. So I do feel very blessed to be able to have that, exactly, embodiment, and share that, and so thank you for everyone here, because it again, this is um it helps me be a focal point for the understanding and articulation of the idea. And I it's not it's not all me, it's my presence around you that gives me the insight, right, to be able to do that. So that being said, I was just down in Miami briefly for part of Art Basel. We went to one of this another exhibit called Bit Basel. And so sorry, Jody and Javen, didn't get to see either of you while I was down there. But I did get some really good quality time with Frank White and astronaut Nicole Stott, among meeting quite a number of other just really great people, including a gentleman named Bruce Hugh. And so, Frank White, I think, most of us all know, or at least know of, just such a great human being. And so we had, some really nice time at talking about he, is not a young body, but as he said, he's very young mind. And he wants to go to space, even at his uh you know um advanced maturity. We had a really great conversation around, actually, the cause of sending people who are elderly or senior, or have spent 60, 70 years in our earth, gravities and conditions, into space, and the possible benefits, individually, socially, around doing that. And so that was really great to have that time with them, and also with Nicole Stott, who I've has been a friend of the museum, and also is someone who really does share this Terasem philosophy, and is doing so much through her own artwork. She is the first astronaut to have done a watercolor painting in space. And so that was one of the things on display there, and some just amazing space art from all over. But that was one really special experience in the last month that I had and wanted to share with everybody as the Bit Basel Sea and Space Summit, which was so great. And again, from for perspective that 10 plus years ago, I could not identify anybody um, in maritime speaking about space or in space speaking about maritime. And although there were so many connections as far as I could see, and I started, creating programming and making connections between the two. And now at this Bit Basel, this entire day of programming, which was a merger of sea and space. And so talking about coral restoration and seeing so many of the ocean-minded understanding how sea and space are so deeply connected. And so that was really a great, moment to be a part of as well there. All right, so we are, oh, wow, 10:52 already, so we better actually read the recitation here. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I don't think that worked right. It's not what I was trying to show. Here we go. Does everyone see 6.6? Excellent.
Yes.
Honor consciousness. Husk, the conscious mind's vision of a beautiful life entails goodness, order, vitality, happiness, and harmony. Open yourself to immortality via substrate migration, mind uploading, and downloading to regenerated or nanotech bodies. Neurocomputation leads to consciousness as validly as does biological evolution. So marital union may transcend substrate. Andinunk, the Iroquois teaching about an entity's benevolence orientation, is also how to be conscious. Undertake to prove that mind files can regenerate their embedded consciousness and be ported to new bodies. Remember in all you do that mind is deeper than matter. Will a volunteer continue for 6.7?
I can do it.
Excellent. Please.
Okay. 6.7. I'm you, you are I, or we are one. Greet each other each day. 6.7.1. Inch together. Gaze each soul. Touch foreheads and noses. Inhale deeply and share Ha, the life breath. 6.7.2. Always help fellow Terasem in economics and politics before considering alternatives. 6.7.3. Make a homes Terasem gathering places, and Terasem will safekeep them for you until you return. 6.7.4. Yield to Terasem's higher levels, for that progresses all more rapidly toward Yugan space and Elysium fields. 6.7.5. Organize your life around the way of Terasem, and you will attain high levels of Terasem. 6.7.6. Ummah, a community of way of Terasem, faithful with commitment to diversity, unity, and joyful immortality.
Thank you, John. And another volunteer for 6.8, keeping in mind that the 4 decimal point and smaller font does not need to be recited.
I could do it.
Yes, please.
6.8, conclude quadra hourly commitments with codas. Thanks for being and participating here in Terasem consciousness forever. 6.8.1, top off ambrosia with longer sun. 6.8.2, herald earth fire with earth as our mother. We'll advance the, okay.
Yep, sorry.
6.8.3, aqua lung culminates with the water song. 6.8.4, namaste, namaste, star mind with lovely lady. 6.8.5, keynote crown aura with Terasem destiny. 6.8.6, sleep on Alam al-Mithal with 13 astrological constellations to inspire our time and place.
Thank you, Mike. And yeah, so those just to step back there, these are all coordinate with the meditations, and they make great mantras. So when you are taking your time to reset, those are great mantras to try to working with your breath work. And another next volunteer for 6.9.
I'll go.
Yes, please.
Oh, 6.9, awareness of the breath of the multiverse in you via yoga connects Terasem to the multiverse. 691, be ready to feel the why of Terasem and well as to cognitively understand it. 692, relax during serenity period each day and transcendental meditation each Sabbath. 693, exchange breath energy with the universe allows us to feel the immortal fabric of the multiverse. 694, allowing only breath and no thoughts removes the daily obstacles that obscure the purpose of Terasem. 695, it went away. There we go. Train yourself to stretch in ways that vitalize the unique energy patterns that are the chi of I. 696. Happy yoga is for all vitalogical life, biological as well as cybernetic, for breathing is emulatable. 610. Life is so...
Sorry, yeah, I would call another volunteer for 610.
okay.
Our last one.
Yes.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, we had the doodles join in just there, and when I switch between functions, that's what you see as well. So a final volunteer to close out our recitations for 2025. Would someone please read 610?
I will.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yuri, go on.
Thank you. Life is so queer with its twists and turns. All of us eventually learns. Lots can go wrong and you'll be hard hit. So learn to rest, but don't ever quit. Each win is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of clouds of doubt. Adapt your task though walls seem high. Remember, success needs you to try. No hit is too hard to give up the fight. See, victory is ours, and we need your might.
Thank you. Thank you. And that concludes our recitation. And also at this point, this last satsanga for 2025. And so I want to appreciate everyone so much for being a part of Terasem. And you look forward to seeing everyone not only Sunday at the colloquium, but in our gatherings into 2026. And so please continue your participations and conversations and other venues such as the Terasem Discord. And With that, let's virtually touch foreheads and say, I am you, you am I, we are one.
Well,
We are one.
You're one.
Okay, this
Happy,
concludes us. Happy Terasem.
happy bit. Bye-bye.